We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk, 1180. Our guest by phone, Tony Katz from the Tony Katz Show. Tony, you got to come out of your shell a little bit, by the way.
Yeah, and for our listeners, they need to grab onto something.
I know. You know what? I will work on it. This is the segment that I take it home, Bliss. This is the segment that people will say, you know, that Katz, I wasn't so sure, but now, where do I send the donation? That's what I am now seeing.
Yeah. You know, we had Pat Buchanan on a couple months ago, and looking at Greece, I'm thinking Buchanan is right. I mean, Greece is a disaster. It's not looking for a place to happen. It's happening, and they don't even see the walls falling around behind him. I mean, no. I reject that. They absolutely do. They don't care. If your entire life is predicated on the idea that you deserve something for nothing, it's based on the lie of socialism. Then why in the world would you ever believe anything else? The things falling down around them, that's somebody else's problem. As long as they get what's theirs, that's all that matters to them. You think
you're seeing the results.
You think they know this? I mean, they're cognizant of what's going on?
We know it in the United States, and it's happening here.
Well, but I mean, okay. Is Obama aware of what's
going on? But what they are is as daft as the occupiers here in the U.S.
Is Obama aware of what he's doing?
Take from the rich, and everything will be okay. There is no conversation to the idea of the producer, the creator, and what it is that they provide to a society. When France knew it was going to elect Holland, calls to financial planners figuring out how to move their money, the uptick was 40%.
Yes,
in a
I
week.
saw that. Yep, I saw
people
that.
trying to figure out what to do in France. They don't stick around. They don't stay. People leaving the United States, it's up at record numbers right now.
Yeah. Do you think Obama's aware?
Recently, one of the Facebook guys. You just don't stick around. And that's why Paul Krugman is wrong when he engages the Keynesian fantasy. It's why all the progressive sycophants are wrong when they engage this idea that if the rich just pay their fair share, you've got your audience there. Name the amount of money. You name the amount of money, I'll put it on the line if one of your listeners can actually define fair share.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't exist. Fair share is whatever the progressive thinks is fair.
Whatever they need.
That number changes. That number can't be quantified. It can't be qualified. There's no such thing as fair share. It's like hope and change. It's a total myth that brings nothing.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about, I'm going to change the subject just a little bit, what do you think about this whole thing with Vandersloot and the Blackstone Group? I mean, I understand that they've got somewhat of an enemies list that the Obama administration, I shouldn't say the Obama administration, it should be the campaign for re-election. It's kind of reminds me of Nixon's enemies list. I mean, they're going after anybody who's making a sizable donation to Romney.
Yeah, but they go after everybody. One of the things that doesn't get discussed that the enemies list is the American people. Let's start with the Cambridge police when they acted stupidly. Let's talk about President Obama saying you'll see people waving their tea bags.
Yeah, but he bought them a beer.
This is an unbelievable, unprecedented amount of hate from the man who was supposed to be the great uniter. Everything and everyone is his enemy. Take the look most recently at a woman by the name of Maya Wiley. Her job was to teach House Democrats how to spot racism. That is to say that anytime they feel the need that something isn't going their way, they can claim racism. And one of the things she talks about is coded language. What exactly is coded language? Just like fair share, it's anything you want it to be, but it's not real. It's not factual. And people like Maya Wiley make it difficult for those people who are victims of racism because it does happen. It does exist. It isn't a perfect society, and I'm okay with the fact that it's not a perfect society. Remember, it's we the people in order to form a more perfect union, not a perfect union. So we've got work to do, and we'll have to do it forever. But the enemies list that you're talking about is just Obama politics as usual.
Well, I live in Kern County, as you know, and now I'm in the minority, so I'm going to start claiming racism.
That's okay. Wait a second. There are 99 racists in the United States Senate who voted 99-0 not to pass Obama's budget, led by Harry Reid, led by Charles Schumer, led by Barbara Boxer here in California, led by Dianne Feinstein. Is anybody going to talk about these racists who wouldn't vote for a black man's budget? Are we finally going to have the conversation about racism in America from the left? They won't even support a budget 99-0. The socialist in the Senate, Bernie Sanders of Vermont, didn't even vote for it. It is racism, as Janine Garofalo taught us, racism straight up, and I want to hear somebody talk about it, that these leftist savage animals won't vote for a budget for their president because they're racist. Now, of course, because the budget sucks. But if they like calling people racist, I say, what the hell, throw it out there.
We're having a conversation with Tony Katz, the mild-mannered Tony Katz from the Tony Katz Show. So,
what station are you on? I got to listen in here, Tony.
He's on the All Patriots.
It's a 5-day-a-week show over there at All Patriots Media. Saturdays, we're on FM News Talk 97.1 out of St. Louis. But, I hear they're looking to make room on Koerner Radio.
Hey,
just talking, right?
I watched a little segment that Fox News put on recently. They showed when George Bush went to Afghanistan, how that when he was introduced, the soldiers cheered and yelled and clapped. And then they showed a segment when Obama was recently interviewed. He played his presidential song. There were two people clapping, the one guy that brought him and the general. The other soldiers just stood there. It shows how much or how little respect the government soldiers have for Obama.
Well, wait a second. First of all, there are plenty of pictures of people shaking the man's hand, and it's not the presidential song, it's Hail to the Chief. But sometimes when you hail to the chief, you want to actually believe he's the chief. And with Obama, you have a hard time visualizing that. But I would never be one to claim that that our armed forces, that are men and women in uniform, aren't giving their utmost respect to the chain of command. Obama does other things that are completely out of line with the American ethos. For example, he discussed the other day that the soldiers, our fighting forces, are fighting on his behalf. Just the wordplay is enough to make someone lose their skull. It's on your behalf, or is it on America's behalf? Or is it for America? Or is it for freedom? Or is it for opportunity? Or is it for the American ethos and the American way of life? It's for you. They're fighting for you. They're your personal force.
Well, he'd like one.
That he would even use the words frightening.
He would like a personal force. He'd like to put his brown shirts together.
Speaking of possibly replacing him, what do you think Romney's chances are in November?
100%.
Okay, good. This is a debate Clay and I have, because I don't think there's any way, unless the media really, 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 gets further and further into his pocket. But I think there's no way Obama's going to win. I think it may be a landslide the other way.
I don't think he can lose.
Listen, there are a couple ways to look at it, and I say it this way, and I'm pretty clear. President Obama can't win re-election. I don't even know why he's trying. But we always have to make sure we're discussing a fair and honest election here. You can do three kinds of math as I see it. You can do electoral math, you can do constituency math, and then you can do economic math. The latest Gallup map shows Obama winning Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana. These were swing states. These were states that went the other way the last time. So it's clearly not looking in Obama's favor. Then you take a look at constituency math, and you ask yourself, is there any group of people that didn't vote for Obama in 2008 that will vote for him in 2012? And to the contrary, is there any group of people who you go the other way, they voted for him in 2008, will they still vote for him in 2012?
Well,
and the answer is there's no group that's going to a side, but there are plenty of groups that are leaving a side.
But I'll tell you what, there's one group, and we just discussed this with James earlier, by his stance on gays, he just really activated that far left vote, and he's got their money and everything. It'll cost him, but he's going to get a lot of money out of these people. So that's one group that he's kind of activated. But I'll tell you one way I think, if you look at little telltale things like West Virginia, 42% of the Democrats in West Virginia voted for somebody other than Obama in the primary last week, and it looks like next week he's probably going to lose Arkansas, or it'll be awful close.
Yeah, and let me tell you, if he does, it's going to be a pretty fascinating thing to watch. All eyes are on it.
Well, I'm hoping North Carolina and Florida go Romney's way this year.
Oh, they will. They will. Florida is not in Obama's interest. North Carolina has already shown it's not an Obama state. Obama then didn't even show up. Obama then came out with this pandering concept regarding gay marriage just after North Carolina makes their vote. They've already had the discussion of whether or not they should move the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, that is scheduled for Charlotte in the Bank of America arena or stadium, which is just unbelievably hilarious because banking is the center of all the evil, and no one's a better friend to the banks than Barack Obama.
Yep.
So no, he doesn't win Florida or North Carolina.
Yep. Tony, unfortunately, we're out of time, and we have to have you come back. This has been fun. I've really enjoyed this.
And I was awake for the whole show.
And and Clay was awake for the whole show, which is really an advantage. But people can hear you on the All Patriots Media Network, okay?
Right, allpatriotsmedia.com. You can also go to TonyKatz.com, TonyKatz.com. Follow me on Twitter at Tony Katz as well. And tonight, catch me on Cubbo. I'm in New York right now. The Cubbo Report, CNBC, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. You can catch me there. And Saturday, I'm scheduled to be on Fox and Friends in the morning.
Tony, thanks.
Watch.
Okay, definitely. And
watch and listen.
We will talk to you again soon.
You got it. Take care, guys.
We'll be back in 167 hours on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.